Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we expect to happen next. Now as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out. Okay, let's get right down into this. We've seen some pretty extreme volatility over the last kind of 48 hours or so, and yesterday we actually came down a fair amount. Let's just quickly check out our Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart here, and with Binance being our data source. Now yesterday what we're doing is we're talking about this yellow box area down here between 16,264 and 16,814. However, obviously we overextended, we went down lower. So with our expectations being kind of over, I guess we went past our expectations, we have to now break down this fifth wave and see what's going on inside there. Are we expecting more? Because at the moment it looks like we might have overextended this fifth wave, basically meaning that you end up with this really big 5-wave structure inside the fifth wave movement. So this could mean that we have a lot further to go, and of course could be a bit of an issue. So we want to kind of keep an eye on this. It's something that is potentially going to change a little bit over time. So we just want to be a little bit cautious. It looks like we might be getting, I'd say probably it's going to be a pretty big extension. So we want to be a little bit cautious here. Now we've got a couple of options to look at this. We could probably say that maybe we are still in a really big wave 3, and we've got a long way to go before we even get to the fifth, or we talk about the fifth wave and we'll talk about it being overextended. I think in time that'll be clearer. Right now it's not overly clear as to whether or not this is an overextended fifth wave which is going to continue to overextend, or whether or not it's our third wave that's overextended and we just can't quite see the entire structure. But it looks like this: 1, 2, we come down, I think it's here, so 3, 4, and then 5, right? So we have that fifth wave movement, but then we go up for a reset, and this resets here, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to, by looks of it, come down again in 5. So we're going to see this kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 movement. So I think there's a long way to go here. The only question I have in my head is whether or not we are a wave 3 at this point. It's still got to come down lower, by the way, guys, or wave 5. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there for a moment. What we're going to do is we're going to actually remove this one, and we're going to focus on this sub count. Okay, what we want to do is we want to see, okay, we come down here, we're going to go up, we've got to come back down again. My expectations are still going to be in the standard way that we would look at this, and that's that we are going to be looking for the 1.236 to 1.618 range. So I'm going to draw this yellow box area right on here. Okay, so basically we're talking about 14,822 to 15,252. Okay, so this little box just here. Think of it as this way, just slightly neater. If we were to think about it as 14,820 through to about 15,290. Okay, so we can look at it like that as well if we want to be a little bit neater. It's usually quite hard to draw these exactly on there when it comes to Bitcoin. Okay, so let me remove that. This could potentially be the next area of demand. Now this does come in line, if I bring us up into our daily, okay, thinking about those numbers, and I throw on our order blocks, you can see that this order block here is 15,020 through to about 15,450. Okay, we came close to it. We obviously had this little wick area here at the moment. So as I come back down and I start thinking about where this demand is, we can see that it's right in here, right? And we can see it's just above this area. Now, the question becomes, are we going to chew through all of that supply and continue moving down, or whether or not we are going to start talking about those slightly bigger problems? Now, if I come up to Bitcoin with the USD pair and Bitstamp, when we start talking about our structure here, we've lost this area of demand. We've kind of come way below it at this point in time. And so the next stop really is 13,880 on our monthly time frame. Now, if I come down to the weekly time frame, you can obviously talk about, the structures that we're really concerned with, which are going to be around that 14,600 as you start to create this bigger macro weekly time frame issue. Okay, this is basically creating a 5-wave both structure. So we want to be a little bit cautious about that. We don't necessarily want to see that that come straight away in. Now, obviously, we can reflect on things like the EMAs, but we did that already. What I want to kind of talk about is that we've seen close to $1 billion getting liquidated yesterday or the day before, more like about 48 hours ago. And in the last 24 hours, we've also seen another $689 million getting liquidated as well. Okay, and we can see that Bitcoin's at the top here, then Ethereum, then Solana, right? That makes sense. You can also see the platforms in which most of those liquidations have come from. FTX at $212 million of liquidations, right? Binance at 210 million and so forth. So there's a lot going on. Obviously, FTX, FTT, Solana, and so forth. We're actually going to do an AMA with our Patreon members this morning as well. So we're going to go through all of that with those guys, and just so that they understand a little bit more of what is going on in the background. I also wanted to kind of just spend some time on this video just talking about who's buying, who's selling, okay? Because as price comes down like this, we have to understand that essentially people are going to be buying it that dip, right? Essentially, right? And we want to know, is that big money that's now coming in, stepping in and buying up that dip, or is it just retail money coming in thinking that, okay, cool, this is a new lower low, but we're still confident that long term, with this, we're about around the corner and we're going to be in a bull market, we're going to be, moving on up. So here we can have the inflows and the outflows, right? We can see that there was a lot more in the way of outflows than there were inflows. Okay, as that price comes down, it's been soaked up. A lot of people have come in there and bought up the Bitcoin. So that's kind of what's going on here. We can see that we had 104,000 Bitcoin go onto exchanges and 136,000 Bitcoin come off the exchanges, okay? So again, these things don't happen at the same time. You usually have the flood of Bitcoin coming onto the exchanges, bringing the price down, and then you see people buying it up, and obviously it comes off the exchanges. So as we come across, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the wallets, right? We're going to start with the retail wallets. This is pretty telling, okay? So these are retail wallets, okay? These are basically people who have at least one Bitcoin, or people that have 10 Bitcoin or more, right? These are basically your everyday 9-to-5 workers who've been kind of saving up and buying Bitcoin so they can have at least one Bitcoin and believe in Bitcoin long term. Then you've got the dolphins. These are 10 Bitcoin or more, which are your high net worth individuals. These are people who have sizable amounts of income and have put sizable amounts into BTC, at least for their wealth level. Okay, so owning 10 Bitcoin is or more essentially is a pretty decent amount of investment in BTC, and it's pretty telling as to what these two retail mentalities have obviously done. They've been buying up this particular dip, right? We can see the price dropping down, and we can see these wallets going up. Okay, so orange is price, and the black lines are the number of wallets that have said amount of Bitcoin. So we can see here huge amounts of shrimps. Okay, we are now rocking 918,000 wallets with 1 Bitcoin or more, and over this side here we are rocking a pretty decent 153,000 wallets, right? So it's small money that has come in here and bought up BTC in this particular scenario. Now, if we come over to bigger money, we can see a pretty telling piece of information, right? We have the sharks here. 100 Bitcoin, the whales at 1,000 Bitcoin, and Krakens at 10,000 Bitcoin. And for the most part, we can see that the sharks actually did buy up a little bit here as the price came down. Might be a quick flip for these guys, not sure. These are normally your traders, so keep an eye on that. Could be short term. I don't think it'll be long term, not with the way that they've been coming out so aggressively. You can see that the whales have been coming out, and that remains the same. They are continuing to come on down, have been de-risking, basically coming out. So what we have to understand is that when retail is buying, they're buying it from somewhere. Okay, there's not this magical amount of Bitcoin that's just sat on an exchange. Essentially, there's going to be a buyer and there's going to be a seller. And in the case of what we've got going on here, we've got retail money coming in and buying. They're buying it from somewhere. Where are they buying it from? They're buying it from the whales. Okay, so it's important that we understand that. The Kraken size wallets, again, they're actually kind of static here, about 108 for the last few days anyway, not terribly too much to kind of note. A little bit maybe of accumulation just as that price fell down a fraction here. But again, we're not seeing confidence in these. What we're not doing is we're not seeing from these larger wallets. And to bear in mind that I believe that the Kraken size wallet is cold storage for the whale size wallet. You're not really seeing huge accumulation, right? And I also think that we aren't really where we need to be in terms of these whale counts or Kraken counts. And the reason for that is if we take a look at what happened in 2018, you can see that basically the retail money comes in, buys up as much as they can. Then during this flat period here, they kind of get shaken out and they start coming on down. Now, if I take a look at whales during this flat particular period of time, they basically are accumulating, and the Kraken size wallets are accumulating during the bear market. They kind of get past this little flat period here, then they dump it all on the market and they create this bottom down here. Now, when I say dump it on the market, I think the best way of actually kind of best analogy really for this is that they flood the market with BTC. Okay, so when there's more supply than demand, the price goes down. So essentially, don't think of them selling, because that's probably not really what's going on. What they're really doing is they're just flooding the system with so much Bitcoin, the price drops down as people can't sell at the higher prices. They start kind of this cascading effect of lowering their pricing until someone buys it. So when demand is low and you start seeing these kind of things going on, I think that's really where we're kind of, that's one of the things that we're kind of waiting for in this space, right? So at the moment, when we're taking a look at things, all we're seeing is this huge accumulation point for the kind of the shrimps and the retail money, and we're seeing that the whale money isn't really coming into Bitcoin. We've got some accumulation with the Kraken size wallets, but still we're about 20 or so of these wallets, down from where we were in 2018. I'm not saying that we have to have the exact same whale count, but until the retail money is willing to sell their Bitcoin to the whales, I'm not expecting the Krakens to dump on the market. So essentially, I don't think we're there yet. We've got probably a bit of a journey to kind of go through before we can kind of get there. But we are definitely making some progression towards some of this stuff. And one of the things that we need to be aware of is that if we do go down as low as 14,600, then potentially we are going to be coming down in towards our kind of $9,500 kind of levels on our monthly time frame here. But let me know if this has actually been welcomed by you guys. I mean, there's obviously going to be a winner. There's always going to be a loser when these kind of moments of volatility arise. Now, obviously on this channel, we've been talking very much about new lower lows, and our community have actually benefited quite a bit from trading, shorting the market, or just simply not buying and not hodling until the right times come along. Let us know if you are on the right side of things. Did you actually have a pretty good time over the last few days, or has it been a really unfortunate and difficult time for you? Let us know. And if you do need help or support, then obviously join us down in Discord. We've got a fantastic community there that can help and support where it needs be as well. So guys, I'm going to leave this video there. If you found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And as I said, join us down in Discord. Until the next one, guys, have a fantastic day.